Now there's a lot to think about when learning to play guitar, and it can seem daunting and complicated. That's why in this video I'm going to give you 7 simple tips that every beginner needs to adopt in order to start off on the right foot and avoid frustration. Welcome to the channel that takes out the fluff and gives you quick, compact, straight to the point lessons to get you back to working on your craft ASAP. I'm your host Brett, and you're watching Learn That. Alright, tip number 1, only practice 5 minutes a day. Now you're probably thinking 5 minutes isn't enough, and you'd be right. But if you plan for a half hour or an hour, odds are you won't practice at all because it'll feel like too big of a task. So just plan on 5 minutes each day and you'll likely find yourself practicing for much longer. Tip number 2 is slow down and redo mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but if you play through them, you're actually training your hands and brain to play incorrectly. So stop when you make a mistake and replay that part 5 to even 10 times with a slower tempo before moving on. Tip number 3, play with a metronome. You probably heard this one before, and there's a reason why. Playing with proper tempo is vital when playing with other people, playing alongside a song, or even just becoming a great guitarist. So get a tempo app and practice playing with it for at least part of every single session. Tip number 4, memorize 3 songs. You are bound to be asked by somebody to play a song for them, and sooner than you think. So pick 3 simple songs you enjoy and memorize them so you can be ready when that happens. It's also one of the most fun things about playing guitar, so you might as well be prepared. Tip number 5 is stop playing 5 minutes after your fingers start to hurt. I'm sure you've experienced how quickly your fingertips start to hurt when learning to play for the first time. And it's important to build up those calluses so you can play longer. However, since it's important to also be able to practice every day, we need to build up those calluses gradually. If you push through the pain for too long, you may not be able to play the next day and therefore lose that practice session. So push through the pain for about 5 to 10 minutes after you start to have pain in your fingertips, and then save your hands for the next session. Tip number 6, buy a guitar stand. This one is psychological but super important. If your guitar is always in its case, you're much less likely to actually pick it up and remember to play it. When it's in a stand, however, you can't really avoid seeing it, and because it only takes a few seconds to pick it up and play, you'll be much more apt to actually use it. Check out the link below for a few cheap stands you can buy. Lastly, tip number 7, call yourself a guitarist. Here's another psychological one. The more you speak about something, the more you believe it. So calling yourself a guitarist will subconsciously build up your confidence and belief in yourself, as well as motivate you to get better and better. All right, there you have it. Those are 7 tips that you should adopt into your practice sessions as soon as you can, and I guarantee you'll see a difference. As always, thank you so much for joining me and Learn That. And remember, the more you learn it, the more you enjoy it. So please consider subscribing and building your craft with us. See ya.